Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't switch on your audio or video until I ask you, okay? And
Okay,
then
ma'am.
don't put anything in the chat box.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, mute please.
Okay.
Don't switch on your audio or video until I ask you, okay? Okay, ma'am.
No, live. Where is live? Live. Live. Okay. This you copy and paste it there.
But it's recording. It's echoing me, my voice.
Yeah.
Ma'am, did you leave?
Yes. Can you all hear me? All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yeah. All right. So apologies for the technical errors over there. Thank you so much for cooperating with us. We have yet another session in place right now, and I see the audience coming back. All right. So I see the audience coming back. Yes, Miss Sita, are you with us?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I'm here. While you are handling your technical glitches, I'm handling power breakdown. Suddenly
Okay.
something went wrong. So I connected from my mobile. I'm just waiting for another 2 minutes. I'm sure we can warm up until then.
Sure. Sounds good. Thank you so much for cooperating with me. All right. So welcome, guys. Welcome all of you to another session here at Neve Academy in SAIPSA 2021 Job Alike. And we have a very important guest with us today, and you may already be familiar with her by now. And we have Miss Sita Murthy with us today. And she has been very patient and very cooperative and full of energy throughout these sessions, and very interactive throughout. So I'm sure this particular session will go great as well. So here's Ms. Sita Murthy for you. Ms. Sita Murthy, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much. Effectively to connect with one another. So good afternoon to all the participants, all the PYP practitioners, late in the afternoon on a weekend like this, that if you are all logged in and patiently waiting for the technical glitches to be addressed, it speaks about how wonderfully involved you are in what you are doing. So without wasting much time, we just have barely another 40 minutes or so. I would like to ask this question to everybody. What is the first thought that came to all of you when you heard the title of my session, Democracy in Assessment? Yes, you may not be able to answer, or maybe you can unmute and answer. That's okay, because SAIPSA sessions are more job alike, where we interact and we talk to each other. So it's ideal if we can talk to each other and interact. So is there anyone who'd like to unmute and tell me what is the first thought that came to your mind when you read this title, Democracy in Assessment? Wonderful. We have
What I feel, I'm Reena Mode from Calorex Olive International School, Ahmedabad.
Okay.
And what I feel with democracy in assessment is students creating their own assessment and acting as an agency according to the enhanced PYP. And
Fantastic.
through this way, they're taking their own responsibility of learning.
Fantastic. Is there anyone else who wants to share?
Ma'am, can I?
Yes, please.
Yes, ma'am. So when I heard about democracy of assessments, first I was thinking, what is democracy of assessments and how does it help the students? So what is the importance of democracy of assessments in our life? Does it help us, or it is necessary or unnecessary?
Okay, very nice. So yes, I think whoever has typed in freedom of choice being assessed, voice, choice and ownership, this is exactly what I meant when I have written that title, Democracy in Assessment. So as I am also handling with my power breakdown and connecting through the laptop, I thought I'll kickstart the conversation around it. Suman has said, learner is choosing what he wants to learn. Role of students agency in framing the assessment, Reena says that. Yes, that's exactly what I also meant. This was in 2017 or so that I started this experiment of can we ask students what they want to be assessed in? So this is almost 4 years ago. I remember we were having the summative assessments of that year then, and I saw the students getting down from the school bus, walking towards their classrooms because they were all getting up for their summatives. And I just asked them, okay, today what are you writing your summative assessment in? So somebody said mathematics and somebody said English, somebody said science. Then I was thinking, can I ask them? So I asked this question. Forget about what your teacher is planning to assess you on. I want you to tell me what you want to be assessed in. So there was this little girl who was from grade 4 at that time. She just said, ma'am, I can write without many grammatical mistakes. I can write good sentences, paragraphs, and passages. But I like to be tested on how creative I am. So the way she articulated her thoughts, it was very, very interesting to me. I, in fact, walked with her to the class and I asked her teacher, can you do me a favor? Let this little girl write what she wants to write. And you just ask her, can you write anything creatively about the classroom or just give her the choice of what she wants to write about in the most creative way that she would like to. And then give her that kind of feedback along with her asking her why she has written, why did she use these words? The teacher was extremely cooperative and she did that. In the same breath, there was this grade 2 student, Ramakrishna was his name, I still remember. He said, ma'am, I want to be tested in math. Okay. So I said, what in math do you want to be tested? So he says, ma'am, can you please ask me to make, I have learned to represent data in pie charts and bar graphs and things like that. So ask me to do a survey, collect some statistics. And he also gave me an example. He says, okay, I will go and find out how many people like bananas, how many people like apples or mangoes and things like that. I'll come back and I will show in a bar graph. I'll also show in a pie chart. For me, that was a mind-blowing experience to hear students telling me what they want to be assessed in. That was the beginning of my experiments with democracy in assessment. And I sincerely hope that I will be able to continue with these experiments. Until then, let me, I'm able to log in from my one second. I could just log in from my system now. Along with the technical glitches, the power system in my house is also equally troubling today. But let me share my screen and begin my presentation before power again plays havoc today. So,
Miss Sita, can I just share the Zoom rules till then?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. All right. So quickly, we're having a real life experience of how we've been working on Zoom and working as teachers, really struggling to, break barriers and reaching our learners. We have we have Miss Sita Murthy with us today. Ms. Sita Murthy is a Director of Education at Silver Oaks, Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Visakhapatnam, President, Head Associations of IB World Schools, India, and Vice Chairperson of CBSE Schools Association, Hyderabad. A little bit about Ms. Sita Murthy.
She's actually, I'm okay if that's not done.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll just share the rules.
Yes.
Yes. So the housekeeping rules are: remain on mute when you're not speaking, unmute yourselves only when you want to speak, be mindful of the background noise, limit distractions, use the raise your hand tool when you want to speak, one person speaks at a time, prepare materials in advance, use the chat to when you have a question, put it in the chat, please. E-certificates will be sent to your coordinator for only registered participants. At the end of the presentation, there'll be a Q&A session, and this session largely will be interactive, so please stay along. This session is being recorded and the same will be shared with you. Thank you, Ms. Sita. You may please continue.
Thank you, Shiza. Thank you. All right. Let me try sharing some of my thoughts that I put on my slides here. So this whole site, sir, how beautifully Neve Academy has used why, how, what. This is my most favorite way of looking at things. And when I heard Simon Sinek's presentation and his TED Talks and his videos on the internet, and when I bought this book also, I realized, first ask ourselves the question, why? The purpose of doing that, and if you have the answer, how and what will automatically fall into place. So keeping that in mind, I thought we will talk about why assessment. Can any of you ask yourself, why do we assess? All the PYP practitioners here, why do we assess? Why? What do we assess? And how do we assess? These three things. If we keep asking ourselves these questions, they may get us into a good reflective mode. So I like this quote from the IB assessment principles and practices document. Nobody grew taller by being measured. If you see the assessment, just by you giving some grades or some benchmarks to each student, let's not think that they've grown taller because of that or more knowledgeable because of that. Everything that can be counted does not necessarily count, and everything that counts cannot necessarily be counted. For me, assessment is actually learning and it is not testing. So usually this is what teachers may look at. I said I taught him, I didn't say he learned it. So this is something in the PYP where the focus is more on learning and not on teaching. So in the stage that all of you are in, some of you are extremely experienced in PYP, some of you may have joined just last year, some of you may be, you're all in different stages. This is a solo taxonomy. It's a great reflective sheet for us as practitioners and even for students if you want to use it in your classroom. The first one is pre-structural. In any concept, topic you're teaching, if you can use solo taxonomy as a kind of a beginner for prior knowledge. Now, I want all of you PYP practitioners to look at what is it that you know about assessment. I don't really know about anything about this is structural, which I don't think you belong to this category. The second one is unistructural. I know one thing about this, about assessment. The next one is multi-structural. I know 3 or more things, but I'm not sure when or why to use it. The next one is relational. I can do this and I know when and why I should use this. And the last one is extended abstract. I'm able to model or teach this to others. I can even use what I know in other contexts. So each one of you, try to identify yourself in which of the solo taxonomy categories you belong to now regarding assessments. I'm very sure you're in the last one or the second last one. However, regarding democracy in assessments, where are you? Just reflect on that. Now, moving forward, this is a beautiful graphic organizer IB has developed for us practitioners to understand. In the center is the learner, learning and teaching for the learning community. Now, why assessment? To inform learning and teaching. What? Assessment of knowledge, skills, conceptual understanding. How? Assessment tools and strategies to monitor, document, and measure learning. Now, moving forward in that, we as assessment capable practitioners, I'd like to ask all of you, read it, give it a cursory glance now, and just try to recollect which of these have you done in the last 1 or 2 months in the assessments that you conducted. So I'll just be quiet for a minute. Read any one of them and see, have you done any one of these in your assessment practices in the last 1 or 2 months? You planned multiple opportunities for success, supported students to become assessment capable. You used data and evidence to inform your planning and strategies. You shared evidence and data with students in the learning community. You reflected on evidence and data to improve own practice. So some of you may have done one of them, or some of you 2, 3, some of you may have done all of them. But this could be a great reflective tool for us teachers. If we have this as on a desktop, when we are planning our assessment strategy or when we are making our unit planners. Okay, now let me move to the next one. There are 4 principles of assessment that IB talks about. Assessment of concept-driven learning, transfer, culture of growth, and feedback. I'm reading out a question which could be for you. What improvements? What questions do my students ask themselves? What kind of mindset do they have? How do I know? What opportunities do I provide for students to test out their understanding in a safe environment? How can I get an insight into the progress of a student when he's transferring or understanding in new situations? Okay. Now, this is what all of us have been raving about last 2 to 3 years now. Voice, choice, agency, voice, choice, ownership in the learner agency. Now, can we look at assessment of learning, for learning, as agency? Because all of us, when we do assessments, we are either doing assessment of learning. When you want to test the students' subtraction, addition, multiplication, computational abilities, you're doing assessment of learning. When you're doing assessment for learning, the examples are like you're giving a passage for comprehension and you're seeing whether the child can then comprehend and answer to the questions that you've given. Assessment as learning is something that the child has, the student, the learner, is not even exposed to that concept or topic or the situation, but you're using that by designing different tools for him or her to learn more. Most of the time, I delve in assessment as learning. In that flight, I keep flying all the time. So for me, learner agency implies that the responsibility and receptivity both are with the learner. May it be a 4-year-old child or a 12-year-old learner in PYP. For me, the responsibility and receptivity lies with the learner. Voice, choice, ownership in learning, and why not in assessments? And as I said in the beginning, my experiments with assessments began way back in 2017. How do I do it? What do I do? What kind of freedom, what kind of voice and choice can I give to my learners in their assessment? Because ultimately, they are the ones who should benefit from it. Now, learner agency implies that the responsibility is with the learner. In inquiry-based learning, we create student-centric environment. Not just learning, even assessments can be student-centric. Now, this is one thing that we asked our grade 5 group, and they came up with this, that we asked them, now that you understood the big idea of science, and you understood something about atoms and gravity and magnetism, how do you want to be assessed? Read this pie chart they made. They made a pie chart to tell us, what did we learn? What do we want to be assessed on? How do we want to be assessed? So they have written down what did they learn. They learned about atoms, universe, gravity, magnetism, difference between effect and effect, elements, atomic weight, things like that. This is a grade 5. What do we want to be assessed? Now they said they want to be assessed on form of an atom, function of an atom, gravity, magnetism, and periodic table. How? They want to give a PowerPoint presentation. As a group, 3 of them, they have written down. For us, it felt so good that the learners are articulating what they learned and how they want to be assessed and how they want to show their learning. And the tool is also actually chosen by them. Now, coming to a grade 3, this is in one of the units of inquiry. The topic is any of these given in the list over here. Choose any one of them. And then the outcome has been in multiple ways from the same section. I just took a screenshot of the Google Drive, because if I start playing each one of them, it will take a long time. But I just wanted to share this, that every student in the class has chosen a different way to express their conceptual understanding of the topic they inquired into during that unit of inquiry. When I moved to this one, many of us who got into PYP flight 13 years ago, for us at that time, essential elements of learning, the way PYP has divided the elements of learning, 5 of them: knowledge, concept, skills, attitudes, and action. Yes, now we don't talk much about attitudes because they have been subsumed into the attributes. Back then, we used to call them transdisciplinary skills, and now we call them approaches to learning. But when we started looking at everything that a learner learns is concept, knowledge, approaches to learning, and what action they show. If we can start looking at the different elements, start seeing the difference between knowledge and concept, maybe our assessments will get larger perspective. This was an experiment, by the way. Now, did you ever think of the elements separately? Now, concepts are separate, knowledge is separate, skills are separate, okay, and action is separate. Did you ever think that without ever starting a unit of inquiry, you can try assessing the conceptual understanding of children? This is an experiment we have done. So let me try it on you. Now here is a picture that I tried in grade 2 and grade 3. What is a form of man-made things and natural things? And I left this picture with them. I went back to the class about 20-30 minutes later, and to my surprise, many of them have given all the geometrical shapes that we wanted them to learn. The shape of the balloon, the shape of the tree, the shape of the clouds, the kites, or the wings of the birds. Form is something that I wanted them to understand without ever broaching the topic of the unit of inquiry. Key concept form, it's the first key concept that we begin to focus when we want the early years learners to understand. So I tried this one. Then the next one I tried with this picture. What can go wrong in this picture? What can go wrong? And I asked them to write any number of things that they visualize as what can go wrong. The number of things that came from grade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 varied. Each one, according to their age, have seen multiple things. And that's when I asked them, oh, there is a connection between the dog and the boy. That's where things could go wrong. That's where that could, you know, the chain may break and the boy may fall down from the swing. Or the rope ladder may break, and that's why. So they understood the connection between things in a different context. Now let me take you to the other question. What can change? Now this is something I want all of you to answer to yourself. In this picture, let's imagine this picture was taken at about 9 o'clock in the morning. What can change by 4:35 in the evening in this picture? Here is a vegetable market probably. What can change? The vegetables may go bad. They could be flat. These are the kind of answers that came from them, by the way, from the learners of different grade level. They would have sold most of their merchandise. It may get cloudy. It may rain. Some of them may be rich. Some of them may not be very rich because they didn't sell many products. Okay. The vegetables may rot. The fruits may rot. There could be more flies. Maybe it may be very sunny. The number of things that they came up with the answer, all the key concepts I've seen, that change, function, connection, causation, form, everything came in that. Now, I also tried something else with them. I showed this collage of emojis and I asked them, there are only 3 words I'm giving you: above, below, beside. How many number of sentences can you make using these pictures? And I think in a way I wanted them to learn to write sentences, though this was not much about the concepts, but the number of sentences that came up from each grade level kept increasing. Sometimes even if first graders surprised us or third graders surprised us. But what I wanted to share with you is even this is assessment. And there is voice, there is choice. They can write 2, 3, 10, 15. They can think in the way that they want to. They can respond in the way that they want to. Now, cause and effect. This is something all of us can play around with this strategy. All I said was the cause is traffic jam. What is the effect? Oh, we had a number of answers. All I said was the cause is rain. What is the effect? From waterlogging to people getting wet to multiple, malaria and mosquitoes, to all kinds of answers have come from them. Then I changed it. Okay, the effect is rain. What is the cause? Then another plethora of answers have come. This is something that you can try in your classrooms. And for me, this is the assessment that I have done for their conceptual understanding. And I told them, fantastic, you're able to see causation. You're able to see connection between 2 things and say that this caused this effect. And this effect happened because of this causation. So I felt a deeper understanding than me using a concept. Then came the, okay. Let me show you the other ones that I thought I should share, because we are running short of time. I need to use.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Can you please explain again causation?
Yeah, sure. Cause and effect.
Yeah.
So as you are looking at the slide, we are always trying, it's some of the topics that we are trying to, right?
Could I please request everyone to mute themselves?
Okay, others mute, please. Yeah.
Thank you.
So we are trying to develop this understanding about causation. Okay.
Ms. Sita, just unmute yourself, please.
Yeah. Is it okay now?
Yes, thank you. Go ahead.
Okay. So I use the strategy cause and effect for learners to see the connection between two elements, where something can cause an effect, where an effect is because of a cause. So if rain is the cause, what is the effect? You just have to provoke children into answering, because in the morning, what Trevor said in his keynote is about, let them think, give them an opportunity to think. Let's not put answers into their head, let them come up with thinking. And this is the one of these strategies that I used. Depending on the class level, I give examples in multiple ways. So I show them the effect is a sapling. What is the cause? Cause could be sunshine, water, soil. So, and that's how we begin to build the conceptual understanding. There is one more thing that I tried, which I thought I will share with you before I ask some of my students also. I invited them to. Okay, 1 second. Yeah. So many of us must be familiar with this inquiry indicators, right? Not this one. Okay, just a minute, please. Yes. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, yes.
Can you see my
Mrs.
screen?
Can. Yes.
Great. So I used this in my science center. We have a science center, a tinkering lab. I've written down all the inquiry indicators and just threw some questions on the tabletop with some materials. I left some materials in these disposable cups. And the question is, what are the properties of these? The next center that I had was making predictions and acting purposefully to see what happens. I left some material here for them to come and play around with it. Which of these are more soluble? How would you test your theory? I prepared another center. How do these function? I left some tools over there on the table, and all my question was, how do these function? Then I created all this environment. What do we do with these things? Okay, that's two. And then I invited different age level, different class level children there. I left them in groups and I wanted to see how do they engage with that question and begin their inquiry. I may probably show one video of it. Yeah, maybe. What can you do with these items? And you know, we gave them a hot blow driver with crayons and wax crayons.
So I just want to know, what have you done here?
We use this hot air gun to melt these crayons.
Why?
Because to see why these melt.
Yeah.
What happens because they can't bear heat.
Oh.
Yeah, what happens when they melt? So they're like made of pale wax. And then when they become a liquid, they become outside. Then when it becomes outside, it just falls down.
Okay.
So my experiments went beyond, just inquiry indicators. I wanted them to understand different dynamics. How I wish I have enough time to show all that, but I wanted to answer more questions after showing these examples. Okay. But each time we brought a group to a center, allowed them to play around with all the materials given. The most important thing was the conversation, the discussion with them. For me, that was assessment. I didn't need a pen paper test to know if the learners were developing skills of observation or critical thinking, because when you stand there and observe the learners, you will know how engaged they were. Okay, this is a video here. Right, yeah, like if you just see this one here.
becomes an oval shape.
And then, of course, we had plenty of questions by doing these doing these experiments with light, and why, if you pull down the light, what happens? You take it up, what happens? All these things are some of the examples that we tried for provoking children, using the inquiry indicators, building in the key concepts, and then making our notes, because we have done video recording of it. Later, the teacher can observe and make her notes. You're either doing a group assessment or you're doing probably an individual assessment by giving them, by asking them, what did you learn? I have some of my students here that I thought I can ask questions. Himaja, can you unmute?
Yes, ma'am.
please?
Yes,
Are you
ma'am.
able to unmute? Okay. Himaja is my learner from grade 5. And I would like Himaja to share. This year, as you are completing your grade 5 this month, the school has given you the task of graduating from your grade 5 to grade 6 by showcasing what you have learned in grade 5. Okay. We told you that we will not conduct a test, a graduation test. Okay. But we told you something to showcase what you learned. What did we tell you, Himaja?
Ma'am, so we were supposed to present our learning or our understanding through making a website. So it depends. So it was our own choice of making or choosing our topics, our concepts, which were very significant for us through the entire academic year, and we were supposed to present them in the website.
Okay. So how did you go about choosing? I mean, in the entire year, you have inquired through 6 units of inquiry. How did you go about choosing? Because it's not possible to present all the 6 units.
Ma'am, so actually I felt some of them very significant in my life, ma'am. Not only while like inquiring about it, but in my daily life, applying it in my daily life. So I thought one of the inquiries, sharing the planet, and who we are, were very important, ma'am, because they were talking about animals, extinction, and how the competition occurs between them, about resources, and in who we are, about our own health, ma'am. So I got to know about myself, the internal organs in myself and external organs.
Okay. So you felt these 2 units you have to choose and present because you learned them better. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you just give share your website so that all the teachers here can see how you are presenting the learning of this year? And that's when you are going to graduate to the next grade level. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. One minute, ma'am.
No problem. So what we did this year from grade 3 to all grade choice, that there's only one question that we are giving you. Present what you know. Use a website and share what you have learned in this year. There is going to be no pen paper test at all. And every student has chosen to create a website and post their learning in that. So Himaja, are you able to share?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, you're able to see?
Now it started. Can you just briefly tell them about it?
Yes, ma'am. So, hello all, I am Himaja. Good afternoon. So actually, I've been choosing 2 themes, and so one of those themes was who we are. So actually, I've gained a lot of knowledge while inquiring into who we are. So actually, I had so many tasks and activities to do. So that gave me knowledge, and I also have developed key concepts and skills. So which made and told me who I am. So I had knowledge about my physical, emotional, social, and personal health, and also about how the traits are inside us, and about how can we socially be strong with everyone around our society and the community. So yeah, so I've been inquiring with my parents, my friends, and my society members, teachers. So actually, I had some questions that I was asking my teacher about. So they all have clarified my doubt, and I got more knowledge about different things, not only relating to the inquiry, but relating to myself, about my personal health.
Okay.
So
I can see something here, Himaja, in math. Math also you don't have a test, but you were asked to present what you learned, right? Could you
ma'am.
show what is that?
Yes, ma'am. So we were supposed to choose 4 core standards amongst 10. So I've chosen numerical operations as one of them and estimation. So
Okay.
estimation was very easy for me and it was significant because estimation can be used in any concept, might be near addition, subtraction, or while in decimals and fractions. So estimation is applied everywhere in our daily life. So estimation is like a sample answer for the real answer. So I've estimated while dividing numbers or while summing some meters or while calculating the total amount of my stationery.
Fantastic.
Also while measuring some things.
What is this Project July? Oh, you want to show something about algebra too?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So algebra is not like how, so we are not so advanced, but we had some basics about constants, variables, and equations and expressions. So actually, I also, so first while doing it, I didn't understand what was algebra exactly. And then so while I was inquiring about it, I got to know and I was creating some equations and expressions on my own.
Oh, wow. Okay. Project July, what is it? Can you briefly share?
So I'll share one of them, ma'am, like science. So science was very interesting for me, ma'am, because actually it had given me a lot of knowledge and it was very interesting while I was inquiring and while I was checking the site. So I gained knowledge about many things in science project July. So I had inferred and observed a lot in science tube about Tariq Hill and Stan Beads. So how they have helped the society in improving or developing something.
Right. Okay.
And so there were many mysteries that I found out while inquiring into it about different things about NASA. How do they organize everything in sending it into the universe, and also about 10 really impossible places that exist.
Himaja, now my last question to you. Okay. Instead of a pen paper test or different kind of assessments that you have done, how has this been different? Because we gave you a choice to present your learning in any which way you like. So you created a website. Of course, you learned a technological skill over here. But how is it different? How did it make you different with this kind of project graduation that we have now?
Ma'am, so actually project graduation is another creative and innovative idea of presenting our learning. So actually pen and paper test was like revising everything, ma'am. But here it was our own choice of choosing what we wanted to present. So we had understood something, we might not understand something, but here we have been presenting what we have been learning in the entire academic year. And so it was like expressing our emotions, our thoughts through this website.
Okay. So, Himaja, somebody is asking for the site link, but I'll tell them that this is still in work in progress. All the practitioners who are present here, you're all welcome for their project presentations, which are going to happen. I'm sure we'll share it soon, the dates also. Thanks, Himaja. Let me ask your juniors, Deeksha and Ananya now. Ananya from grade 4, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can you switch on your camera?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Thanks, Reena, for that compliment to Himaja. Himaja is wonderful. Ananya, you're from grade 4.
Yes.
Tell us about your summative assessment, which is your project graduation, from which you will be moving to grade 5. What kind of voice, choice, ownership has been given to you and how are you presenting it?
Ma'am, first of all, I think I'm going to start with the choice. The choice that was given to us was the way we would like to present our learning.
Okay.
In a pen and paper test or by presenting a website.
Okay.
That was the choice.
Yeah.
The voice is what you have done, the way you have presented it, the writings, and also the way that you wanted to present it. That is also a voice because you're voicing it out. You're telling that I want to do a website or I want to do a pen and paper test. And the ownership is that, like, to do the task, and also that because you own it, that thing is called ownership.
Would you like to share your website, Ananya?
Yes, ma'am, I'd like to share my English page in that.
Okay.
I have made it like this.
Okay.
And then I have made one video to give a more clarification of my content
Okay.
and one of my tasks that I have done.
Wonderful. Okay.
It's like this only for most of the things, ma'am, like the
All
same.
right. So now I want you to stop sharing Ananya, and I have some questions to you. You know, some people will ask this question, okay, you're giving the choice to the learners, present whatever you know. How is that an assessment? I mean, they're just copy pasting it onto the website or, pages. How is that an assessment? How do you know they've really learned it? What answer can I give to them?
Mom, one thing you can give to them is like, because we're not showing like what we learned, like all the lessons. We're showing what we understood in those lessons.
Okay. All
That's
right. Okay, Ananya. Thank you so much. I wish I could make you all talk more. Diksha from grade 3.
Yes, ma'am.
So Diksha, can you tell everybody here about your assessment, your voice and your choice?
Yes, ma'am. So I would like to start with the choice. So
Yeah.
my choice in doing this project graduation was choosing the 3 units in my unit of inquiry and how I'll be doing it in a website or a pen and paper text. And the voice of me was the different types of ideas which I which I presented in my website.
Okay.
And the ownership could be because I have done that, so it owns to me.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So, the Diksha, there's a question somebody is asking now. What kind of report will you give to the students? So when you're going to press your website, who are all going to see your website now?
So my teachers, my parents, and my friends would be viewing and also rating my website.
So I forgot to ask this question to Himaja and Ananya. When you're making the website, are you also making a Google form where people will give you feedback?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Doing that.
So what is the questionnaire that you made for people to give you feedback on your website?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am,
So
Yeah, Diksha, you complete. I'll go back to Himaja and Ananya about it.
yes, ma'am. So the questionnaire criteria type of thing is to make people rate my website on the creativity, on the ideas, on the content which I have learned.
Okay, all right. Himaja, would you like to answer? You're almost done with your website. What is the feedback you want to hear from people who see your website? How did you
Actually, my wish or like my wish is that they will be able to understand what I've learned and the skills that I developed now. So here the main objective or the main thing to know is the skills I developed and the knowledge I gained, ma'am. So in the entire academic year, I had developed many skills while doing different inquiries or doing some tasks. So I've created some questions about my skills, like about how were the course standards presented and about project
Can you show that, Himaja? Is it ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you
Yes,
just
ma'am.
show
I'm
it?
ready with the Google form.
That will answer many questions.
One minute, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You're able to see it?
Yeah, to all those who asked, how are you going to give the rating? The students are creating their own appraisal sheet also in that website. So everybody who visits the website will have to give a feedback to them. Okay, show it.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, so here I've created about whom are you assessing as, and so I've created some questions about the core standards and my concept skills and learner profile that I've written in UI.
Yeah.
And then the other questions was, ma'am, because I've written the mathematical skill or like the common standards developed in each core standards, ma'am, in maths.
Yeah.
And so, ma'am, I've been writing my understanding in different ways, ma'am, like in Sanskrit, creating a video, and in Hindi, writing a writing, ma'am. So I've even made some questions about them. And the next were about how was my website, ma'am? So do you think the skills were developed and was everything organized, and how was the content justifying my learning? So I created questions about all those, ma'am. And ma'am, the one of the most interesting question was, give me 2 stars and 1 wish for my website and feedback on the entire presentation, ma'am.
Thanks a lot. Thank you so much, Himaja. Thank you for sharing that. So to all those who asked this question, what kind of report or assessment will we give? No, we don't want to give anything anymore, because even the parents who watch this website while the students are constructing, as well as when they create their own appraisal, I think the student gets the feedback already. So we are very happy without any other report card over and above this. Diksha, I'm sorry I had to cut you once again. Diksha and Shreyas from grade 2. Can you also switch on your camera? Yeah. So Diksha, my last question to you. This kind of assessment and creating your own success criteria for it, how does it make you feel now?
It makes me feel excited, and it's very different from all the years which I have passed.
So, you're only in grade 3, Diksha.
today. So I have got pen and paper test where I'll be tested only with the questions which are given here. But in this project graduation, I can answer my own questions in my own way.
Okay. All right, Shreyas, you are in grade 2. And
Yes,
you're moving to grade 3 in another 2-3 weeks, right? So I want to hear from you what you learned in grade 2. What do you want to be assessed in, so that you feel that you are ready to go to grade 3? Yeah.
I clearly didn't understand the question.
I will rephrase my question, okay? Shreyas, I'm asking you, you are ready for grade 3?
Yep.
What did you learn in grade 2?
I learned about division, measurement, my new topics, English, conjunction, contractions, and
In your units of inquiry? What about your units of
studying
inquiry?
the planet, who we are more advanced, advanced. The same topics I learned were more advanced now.
Okay. So
But it was simple.
Shreyas, if the teachers want to assess you, or anybody wants to assess you, whether you have learned something well or not, what should they assess you in?
Math, my favorite topic.
Okay. What in math should they assess you in?
Division. It's the most hardest. That is also with reminders.
So that's why that's where you want to be assessed in.
Yeah. 6-digit numbers.
What if we don't assess you at all?
Probably I will assess myself on the whiteboard that I have.
All right. So now I will ask all the participants here to ask any questions, because we have very little time. Shiza reminded me already. We just have about 9 minutes now. So I'll try my best to answer, or I'll ask any of my students to answer the questions. Please, you're most welcome.
Yes, participants, you have questions. You can please raise your virtual hands or just unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay, Shreyas, this is Reena Mode from Ahmedabad. How are you doing?
Good, ma'am.
Okay, I have a question for Shreyas. That Shreyas, as you said, that you would like to assess, you would like the teachers to assess on the concept of division in math. But then don't you feel that what about other subjects or other concepts that you have learned in grade 2? How you will go about it?
Shreyas,
Yes.
so ma'am is asking you, you said that you wanted to be assessed only in division. What about the other subjects?
Because I don't like them most, and probably they're really easy. Like English is very easy, just writing and punctuation marks. Only my handwriting is the problem in it. Plus, but it was easy for math. I mean, complicated for math. I more
Okay.
likely like to take a chance on complicated things because because from PP2 I understood that easy things will be easy and you can go up to the next level. Like piano is my passion, and I always play level 1.
I got your answer. Shreyas loves
That is
talk.
very low.
That's amazing. That's amazing, Shreyas.
Thanks,
Well done.
thanks,
Well
Shreyas.
done.
Well done. I love the confidence. Thank you, Shreyas.
Exactly.
Yeah, I have a,
Thank you, Shreyas.
I have a question if I can ask Sonia here.
Yes, Sonia.
Yes, Sonia. Go
I'm
ahead.
also a grade 5 form tutor. My question was that when you were talking about this website, it's a wonderful idea. I think, I mean, something that I really want to take back with me. What about the PYP exhibition? So does this, sharing of the understanding replace the PYP exhibition, or I wanted little understanding on that?
So the PYP exhibition is already done in December on January,
Okay.
that part. This is the entire, by the way, we have PYP up to grade 6. So grade
Okay.
6, not just grade 5, we have up to grade 6. So they completed their exhibition and now they're on their project graduation is what we are calling them. We have given them 45 days of time to develop this website. But that's only one part of it. That's only a platform. But to start organizing and sorting and presenting the key lessons of this academic year. The presentations will start from the 15th of March, I think from next week. I will share my head of PYP's mail ID here. Any of you interested in watching these presentations, you can mail connect with her and she will arrange for for you to be a part of this.
Definitely. I think very inspirational, and all the children, kudos to you, the confidence. It reflects, the ethos of the school and the way they are developing. And I think that's what the crux of an IB education is, the confidence along with the knowledge. So yes, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Sonia. Ms. Sneha Gadre or Ms. Priyanka Srivastava, you have a question?
Yes, ma'am.
You can go and ask. Go
Am
ahead,
I
Ms.
audible,
Priyanka.
ma'am, myself Sneha Gadre.
Okay, go ahead, Sneha, and we'll take Ms. Priyanka's question next.
It's really amazing to see the students' growth, but I just have one question, that how they cater their academic integrity there.
Okay, anyone can answer? Ananya, Diksha or Himaja. Ma'am's question is academic integrity means, she's saying, how do we know that they have not, have they been sincere about presenting what they learned? Can you answer? Yeah, Ananya. Ananya?
Mom, like when you asked me this question like that, I think
Ananya means from where you get any resource or search, then how to create or how do you mention academic integrity there?
Or you mean to say giving credits? You mean to say giving credits? Okay, so I mean any source that they use, they always give the credit to it. From PYP, we build that academic honesty into everything that they do. That part they take care. I was probably, I understood your question as, are they sincere about presenting what they've learned, or are they just presenting? I'm sorry, I misunderstood your question.
No, ma'am. Mostly for what mostly students search from Google, or they search another site. So can they mention I learned from this site or other thing, or maybe I learned from my teacher or guided from my teacher? That side.
Can you answer, Diksha?
Yes, ma'am. So actually, this was a discussion in our class. So we were deciding to keep a page like keeping a few links. We had a few links which our teachers explained us and PDFs which ma'am has explained us, and also sometimes a few sites. We would like to keep those links or pictures of them in a page of the sites, websites.
Yes, correct. This is the correct answer. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Ms. Priyanka, please go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon, Miss Sita.
Good afternoon.
Wonderful kids, you people presented to us a democratic environment in a school setup for assessments, and it truly reflected to me the topic that we were talking on about this presentation the whole afternoon. So my question is to Miss Sita. I wanted to understand that reports, assessments are also to present to the learning community, that is our parents and our stakeholders and everybody. Like you mentioned that when kids are doing their own assessments in their own way of presenting it, then we don't need to create that report for them, a report card structure. But how do we change the mindset, or what is like how you have achieved success, or what has been your experience in it?
So I'll just sum it up like this, Priyanka. When we sent this mail to the students and the parents as to why we asked the students to do this, we explained everything to the parents and we told them, you will be one of the assessors, evaluators of your child's website. You will also be an evaluator of another child in the same class, okay? So that they know the skills or the concept that their child has developed. And they're going to give a feedback in that, you have seen what Himaja has created. Every child is creating. So that in itself is a part of a report card. And the children are going to get from their own teachers, okay, from their peer group, seniors, teachers who have not taught them, at least 10 to 15 people are going through the website and giving them the feedback. While that's one part, the second part is project presentation, which I'm talking about, which will happen from next week. There is a designated time, 20 minutes for every student when they present. So during the presentation, they have an audience of parents and of course, classmates and seniors and everybody. And there is again an online survey form, kind of a checklist, where they give a feedback to the student. Now, you imagine, until now, the student was getting a feedback only from the teacher. Now, the student gets feedback from multiple sources, including parents, on the website as well as on the presentation. So you just can't replace this diversity in feedback by one report card by one teacher. That's how we looked at it, and that's how it's been happening. We already finished for our senior classes. Now the PYP classes, we are beginning from next week.
Thank you. Thank you for answering that.
I think 3:15 now, Shiza will give us marching orders.
No, I think we'll just take one more question. If I may, Ms. Sita, I just wanted to, I was, also impressed by looking at the work the students have done. Of course, we do it for our grade 5 exhibition. And, as mentors, we work with the students, and the teachers, of course, work very, very closely with the students to create the website and present their learning. And it's a whole journey and a lovely process in itself. But here I see even the lower grades are also involved in creating the website. My question is that what is the technical support they get? Do they have ICT running, or is it, how does that work?
Oh, teacher, I wanted to answer from grade 3.
Okay, sure.
Ma'am, actually, we had a few ICT sessions.
Okay.
When our ICT ma'am came and told what are the options or interfaces in the website.
Okay.
And can I answer?
Yes.
And we also sometimes explored and found out.
Okay, so you've learned it on your own. So it's all been self-direction and self-learning, is it? That's lovely. And you are in grade 3, Deeksha? That's
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
so nice to hear. I'm so glad to hear that.
Exactly.
Yes.
Ma'am, actually from an year, ma'am, from 2020 to 21, we have been working through online classes, ma'am. So even that is also one of the kind of a practice to create this website.
Okay.
Like, we had some 1 or 2 classes like where our teacher helped us,
Okay.
but otherwise we all have done it on our own because we had a 1 year practice daily.
Fantastic. That's so lovely to hear. Very good. Can I, is there one more question? Does someone else have another last closing thoughts? Any closing thoughts, any questions that you may like to ask?
Shiza, Miss Shiza, if I may come in, Alka here.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
that was the last thought that Diksha and Himja just shared. So that lockdown that I was in another webinar when I said that was a blessing in disguise, because that techno thing and children, they are the best takers as compared to us as adults. So they have several tools, like in groups they are working on MS Forms, on Mentimeters. So and they, the kind of power they have, grasping the tools.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that helped these children to create that self-assessing tools for themselves. So, and Miss Sita Murthy ma'am, I would just like to appreciate, I mean, that mindset, if you were able to change, or that doing away with that result. Otherwise, result has to be very, very comprehensive document if you want to satisfy on all parameters, isn't it?
Alka, I would say like this: the mindsets have changed largely thanks to the COVID and this pandemic, because parents have understood learning can be seen in multiple ways. So that also added to the new understanding of, accepting assessment in a different way. I shared my head of my PYP's mail ID, headpyp@hyderabadsilveroaks.co.in. If any of you want to watch the presentations, you're most welcome. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for that.
Just last half a minute, I would like to appreciate Miss Sita ma'am over here. The vision of yours, when I just saw you yesterday, it reminded me of our first student exchange program we had with Silver Oaks. Okay. If you can recall. I'm from Ajmera Global School, and we were there. Yeah. And what I would say at that time I was in your classroom being with your students. The change I can see how drastically they have evolved, and hats off to you, Sita ma'am. You really done a brilliant job. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And it was a very fruitful session being with you today.
Thank you.
And by the way, I still have that beautiful Madhubani dupatta that you had given as a token of appreciation from your end. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's such a great example of interaction. Yes, that's such a great example. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts, Ms. Sita. Thank you so much for being with us. And of course, that sums up beautifully how flexible we all have been, touching reality. And exactly, I was reading one of the comments. It's exactly what IB wants us to change, adapt, and evolve. And I think COVID is here for a reason. And we rather adapt and move on and move forward and never go back to old ideas and old ideologies. And you've given us lovely examples, and we would like to implement that. Thank you so much. Thank you, audience, for being with us. And it was a treat to have you. And thank you so much for being patient and staying with us with all the technical glitches. Thank you so much. Till we meet next time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Bye. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
And thank you, kids. Thank you, kids, for your wonderful insights.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye-bye. Thank you for being
Bye,
here.
ma'am.